Dear Mr. Cowell, thanks for your reply. I can't wait to be on the show. See you soon, Dr. Daniel. Hey, so glad you can make it here today. I've got a few minutes that I can talk to you about the difference between emotions and a mood. When psychologists talk about emotions, usually they're talking about something that is short-term and fleeting. Usually an emotion has kind of a relatively clear beginning. It has a relatively clear cause, a source, and they tend to be in the foreground of your conscious experience. There's something that you're thinking about. You know that you're angry, and you're thinking about how angry you are and why you're angry, and so on. A mood, on the other hand, tends to be more long-term. Instead of on the order of minutes to hours, they're on the order of hours to days. And often they don't really have a clear beginning. They're just sort of nebulous. There's not really very often a clear source of why that mood is the way it is. It's just sort of there. And they, instead of being in the foreground, they serve as more of a backdrop for all of your conscious thoughts and experiences. Emotions tend to direct action, right? So you might jump for joy, or you might yell, or you might throw things, right? So there are actions that tend to get generated based on emotions. But moods tend to just influence your thoughts. They influence your cognitions, which is just a psychologist's fancy way of saying thought. Now, mood can be thought of as sort of occurring along two dimensions. The first dimension is what we call valence, and the second dimension is arousal. Now, valence refers to how pleasant or unpleasant an experience is. So, eating candy tends to be a pleasant experience, so it has a positive valence. And sticking your hand in fire tends to be a bad experience, and so it is negatively valenced. So that's one dimension. The other dimension is arousal. When you at any given moment, you have some background level of autonomic arousal, fight or flight responses and things like that going. And so the more aroused you are, the higher your arousal is, right? So if you think about arousal and valence working together, let's say you have high arousal and high positive valence, right? In that case, you might be feeling completely elated and overjoyed. If you had high arousal and negative valence, on the other hand, you might be upset or distressed or incredibly angry. Right? On the other hand, low arousal and positive valence, that would be something like contentedness and serenity. Low arousal and negative valence would be something like sad or just kind of gloomy, and so on. So you get the idea that you can sort of take these two dimensions and you can describe a mood based on where it fits along the dimension of arousal and along the dimension of valence. Now, this view is overly simplistic, as people can experience positive and negative moods at the same time. So you can be both excited and nervous, which is positive and negative, about, say, your, America's Got Talent audition. So you kind of have both of them happening simultaneously. So that suggests that the dimensions are not true opposites, that you can only be here or only be here. But it's still a good example of the way scientists think about mood and how they impact our day-to-day experiences. Okay, that's all for now. I will see you next time.